Okay, Dorene, thanks so much for taking a minute to get on camera for us. Not a part of your normal routine at our firm every day, but appreciate you. This is to give our clients an opportunity to get to know you a little bit more. Obviously, you work with a lot of clients at the firm and are on the phone with them all the time and want them to have a chance to get to know a little bit more about you as a person. What if we start at the top? Tell me about where'd you grow up?
So I was born and raised in St. George, so haven't gone very far.
So you're one of those local weirdos that was born here?
That's me.
So what was that like growing up in St. George?
So fun. It was a lot smaller back then, obviously. So I grew up just like in the heart of St. George, so right downtown. So actually not far from our office. So lots of time up in the Red Hills, just running around, riding our bikes, going for hikes. So
okay,
a lot of fun.
So Anthony McMullin, that the firm's named after, grew up there as well. Did you know him at all as a kid?
His younger brother is actually my same age. So we kind of grew up together, went to school together, graduated.
Very cool. I just know St. George was a much smaller world back then.
For sure.
What other types of stuff would people do for fun in St. George as kids back then?
Well, cruising the boulevard was like the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
We didn't have all the medians or anything in the road. So it was like the cool thing to do in high school.
Yeah. Okay. So did you go to Dixie High then?
I did. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. And then what about siblings?
So I'm the youngest of 8.
Okay.
So there's quite a large span of ages. My oldest brother and oldest sister actually have kids around the same age as me.
Oh, really?
So,
okay.
I have 4 brothers and 3 sisters.
Very cool. How many of those now still live in Southern Utah?
We are all here now.
That is amazing.
Yep.
You guys are so weird. That's like my
wife's
wife's family.
It's the Brooks family, we're
That
kind of
is
crazy,
so cool.
but we love it.
So the Brooks family, tell us about the Brooks family.
So obviously we have really deep roots here. And at Dixie High School, the stadium is named after my grandpa. He was a big time coach for football, track, all the things back in the day.
Yeah. And that's Walt Brooks Stadium, right?
Yep.
Very
Yep,
cool.
right.
That's your grandpa.
So it's my grandpa.
Wow. That is some deep St. George roots.
There is.
That's really cool. So what about after high school? Where did life take you?
So I did some classes at Dixie State. It was Dixie State back then. And then I just jumped right into the medical field. So my mom was really sick growing up. So I had an opportunity to kind of help her and kind of learn a nursing role. And so I became really interested in that field.
Okay.
So I jumped in and started as a medical assistant at a pain management company that was here back then. And then did some receptionist and worked there for quite a while, and then worked my way up into a managerial role as office manager. And then our practice got sold. So we kind of merged into that new practice. And I just did that up until I joined with you guys. So been in the medical field for 21 years.
Oh, wow.
That
okay.
dates me just a little bit.
So 20 years experience working in the medical field prior to working in the legal field.
Right.
And that's with 2 different clinics, both of which practice primarily in pain management area.
Yes.
So what does that mean? What's pain management?
So pain management is kind of the catch-all for after you have kind of exhausted your options at a chiropractor or any kind of basic treatment that's not muscular related or things like that. Of course, pain management does help with that as well, but pain management mostly focuses on the spine and does like epidural steroid injections into the spine or help with headaches and migraines and things like that.
Okay. What other types of procedures or injections would be done at a clinic that's called a pain management clinic that works primarily with the spine other than epidurals?
Other than epidurals, there's like a trigger point injection, which does help with muscles, which a lot of our clients actually benefit from after being in a car accident. And then there's more advanced things like a spinal cord stimulator.
Yeah. So a spinal cord stimulator, tell us about that.
So a spinal cord stimulator helps with the nerve damage in your back and your legs, or there can be one in your cervical spine that helps with down your arms and things like that. It provides a lot of relief for a lot of patients that's not a drug-related prescription per se that you'd have to take every day.
Yeah. So a lot of times our clients who maybe have had back pain since a crash, they try conservative measures first. So like chiropractic or physical therapy, and sometimes they'll recover well and be done, right? They're just trying to get back to pre-accident status, but sometimes they don't recover and they're not feeling back to normal, and they get referred to clinics like these clinics that you have got experience with. And sometimes they're pretty apprehensive about that. Why do you think that is?
I think it's scary. I mean, you think of needles going into your spine. That's kind of frightening. But it sounds a lot scarier than it really is. Myself, personally, I've been in a car accident and I ended up at pain management. So I do have some experience with that as far as it's not as scary as it sounds. They are very good at making you feel comfortable and numbing up the area before they even do anything. They do use a fluoroscope guidance, which is like an X-ray guided technique. So it's very safe.
So have you personally had some type of spinal injection?
I have. I've had cervical epidurals, which is in your neck. And I've also had what's called a radiofrequency ablation, which kills the nerves in your neck. You've had two different types.
Yeah. What was the outcomes of those? Did those have therapeutic benefit for you? Like, did your symptoms decrease from those?
Definitely. I get about 13 months relief.
Wow.
And then I go back and have it done and see you again in 13 months.
Okay.
So,
which is not ideal to have to get potentially medical care for long term, right?
Right.
But I mean, to have relief for over a year, to be able to have a good quality of life and not be in pain, and then if the pain returns, to have the ability to have it be gone again. I mean, to me, that seems like a really good outcome, and a pretty cool thing. But I was curious your take on it, because people get pretty scared of it. I feel like a lot of times, and we have to try to, help them understand their options, because we only want them to get medical care that they want.
Right.
So 20 years in the medical field. And then how long have you been with us at McMullin Injury Law?
8 months now.
8 months.
I'm a newbie.
Yeah. So new kid on the block at McMullin Injury Law, and you're a personal injury paralegal with us. Yep. What's that like?
It's fun. I'm excited to learn all of these new things to try to help people. I feel like I know a little bit just from working in the medical field, and a lot of our clients are having to see chiropractic or pain management. And so I feel like I can relate a little bit with them. Dealing with the insurance companies is pretty new for me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what limits they have as far as their auto insurance and things like that. So I love just dealing with the clients every day and helping them in whatever they need.
Yeah. You have this inclination to go back to calling them patients.
I do.
Tell me about, so I'm curious, as someone that worked in the medical field for 20 years, you have interactions with personal injury attorneys, whether it's requesting copies of bills and records or calling over to get an expert medical opinion on a given issue. Was this injury actually caused by the crash or was it not? Tell me, what is the same and what is different about your perceptions of a personal injury law firm from being in the medical field all this time and just hearing about personal injury law firms to now working in one? Let's start with, because I'm sure there's some of both.
Right.
What things are different than what your perception were?
Probably the things that are different is that the medical side, we are just focused on trying to get them the best relief that they can get, right? As quick as they can, basically, and trying to restore that back to how they were. Where on the law side, we're dealing a lot more with the insurance company, and we still deal with them on the medical side, but we trust the doctors to help take care of them in that way while we're trying to work out all the logistics of insurance things.
Yeah, that makes sense. So were there any perceptions about, I guess, working in the medical field, what's people's opinion of personal injury law firms? What do medical people at the medical field that work as an MA or as an office manager, whatever it might be, what do they think about personal injury law firms? Do they like working with them? Do they hate working with them?
In my opinion, and where I worked, we loved it because we kind of looked at ourselves as a team. We're working together for that patient/client to get the best outcome for them.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear, right? Because sometimes
Yeah.
I feel like we're annoying these medical providers a little bit because we've got all these questions and things that we need for our people. But so you've been a personal injury paralegal for 8 months. Tell me a little bit about that. What's your least favorite part about it? Is there stressful parts about it that you feel like are heavy to deal with?
Kind of the property damage, I feel like, is a heavy end. There's a lot to it, but also just because I am newer and still trying to learn things, I don't feel like I can relate to the insurance adjusters as much as someone that's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
But they're pretty good at helping me understand. So
yeah, it's a very learned thing as far as how to talk to these insurance adjusters to get what you want.
Right.
Where you've got to be firm without, being a jerk because you're trying to get them to agree to what you're saying, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that is a learned skill for sure, and that can be really tough. What about what parts of the job have you liked?
I love working with the clients. I feel like it's the place where I can be an advocate for them and maybe help them feel a little more comfortable in whatever their treatment plan is going to be, and kind of just reassuring them that they're doing what they need to do on their end and we're doing what we are doing on our end to get them the best outcome.
Yeah. Do you have a particular client that comes to mind that you particularly like, that you've had a bond with?
I feel like I have a bond with most all of them, but one that comes to mind is a younger gentleman who was driving a motorcycle and he got hit by a drunk driver and sustained substantial injuries. Still recovering, but it's cool to see how he's kind of restoring back to how he was before, even though he probably won't be fully the same, right? But he is having a great attitude about it and just working on his end to become better.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how resilient some people are.
Right.
What about sometimes the clients don't always have the best attitude, right? Because they're going through a really hard thing.
Right.
Have you ever had a client get mad at you?
I have, yes.
What's that like? Tell us about that.
It's hard, but you just learn to go with it and just reassure them that you're doing the best that you can to help them, and that, again, we're on the same team. We want to help you. So we're here for them, not for us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Sometimes it requires being a little bit of a punching bag because something bad has happened to these people, right? They've been in a car accident, or they've been attacked by a dog, or they've had a terrible fall or something. And sometimes they need somebody to lash out at a little bit because things are going terribly. And it can be tough sometimes you got to remind them that I'm totally with you. I'm mad about what happened too. Let me help you get to these objectives. But you guys as paralegals, I feel like carry a lot of weight for that. So, but I think it goes a long way. Is there anything else that you would want us to know about being a personal injury paralegal, or about you, that would help people get to know you a little bit as you help them, through their recovery process?
Just that we're here for them no matter what. Like, they can always call. We're here to help them with any questions that they have, and to not hesitate to ask. Like, if they have a question, just ask it. You can text it, you can call us, you can email us, whatever you feel most comfortable with. We're always here. So
awesome. Okay. Thanks so much.
Thanks.